Welcome to Health Talk America presents the Dr. Bob Martin Show. I'm Dr. Adam Brockman, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be holding down the fort for you today. And if you're a regular listener, you know that we don't just skim the surface here. We're going to dig deep into the roots of what makes us thrive. And today, we are going to talk about a literal life or death border patrol that's happening inside your body right this very second. And as always, your participation in your own health is encouraged. You can call our toll-free hotline at 800-606-8822 to have your question answered. Again, that's 800-606-8822, or you can visit our website, which is at drbob.com. That's spelling out the word doctor, D-O-C-T-O-R, bob.com. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment, unless you're driving, of course. I want you to imagine a fortress. And this fortress is a vast spanning, it goes across the entire surface area of a tennis court. But here's the kicker. The walls of this fortress are only a one single cell thick. And that's it. It's an ultra thin layer of protection that stands between everything you've eaten, every toxin that you've encountered in your pristine, sterile bloodstream. And this is the invisible wall of your gut lining. And folks, we are currently living through, say, a security breach of the highest order with the foods that we eat today. We're talking about a crisis of intestinal permeability and what many of us call in the health world leaky gut. And when this wall is intact, it's a masterpiece of biological engineering. It's a selective gatekeeper. It lets the good guys in, the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, and it keeps the bad guys out. And we're talking about the undigested food particles, the pathogens, and the environmental toxins. And it keeps them firmly on the outside. But what happens when the walls start to crumble? If you think of it like a screen door on a summer day, if the mesh is tight, you get the breeze without the bugs. But if someone takes a pair of scissors to that mesh, suddenly the flies and the mosquitoes and the wasp are in that screened-in porch or your kitchen. In your body, these wasps are things like lipopolysaccharides and toxic debris that should never ever enter your systemic circulation. But when those barriers fail, you don't just get a stomach ache, you get systemic inflammation. And your immune system, which, get this, has 70 to 80% of its entire army stationed right behind that gut wall, it goes into the state of high alert. It starts firing at everything. It's a state of chronic low-grade war that ripples from your toes to your brain. And this is where the frustration starts for so many of you listening. You go to the doctor because your joints are throbbing, or you have this persistent skin rash that just won't go away, or maybe you're struggling with brain fog that's so thick that you can't remember where you parked your car. And in the conventional world, it gets looked at as symptoms. You got joint pain, here's an anti-inflammatory. If you got a skin rash, here's a steroid cream. And that brain fog, maybe you're just getting older, or here's something for your mood. But again, it's ignoring the smoke, and it's trying to put out this fire with just a small water pistol, if you will. And as a health practitioner, I look at these symptoms as smoke signals from the gut. Your skin is often just a mirror of your microbiome. And if your gut is leaking, your skin is going to show it. And we call this that gut-skin axis. And if your brain feels like it's in a haze, that's the gut-brain axis at work. And inflammation in the gut creates inflammation in their entire body. It's all connected. We all see this every single day. And the reports are suggesting that nearly 60% of Americans are living with some form of chronic inflammatory condition. And is it a coincidence that our diets have been stripped of the very things that reinforce this invisible wall? We are over-sanitized, we are over-medicated, and we're undernourished. We use acid inhibitors and antibiotics like they're candy, and every time we do, we are essentially taking a sledgehammer to that one cell thick wall. So now I've spent my career in the trenches helping people put their bodies back together. But even I know when to call in a specialist. That's why on today's show, I'm going to have a conversation with someone that will be our medical detective. And this guest, it has a perspective that is incredibly rare in our field. Before she moved into the world of natural and holistic wellness, she spent years in the world of radiology and ultrasound. She was the one performing the test, looking through those windows of the body to see what was broken or what was inflamed and what was ultimately failing. So she's seeing the physical damage from that inside out. But then she realized something profound. You can take all the pictures you want, but if you don't fix the underlying chemistry and the integrity of that intestinal barrier, the pictures will never change for the better. So she's going to be joining us later to discuss a discovery that is frankly revolutionary. Now, we've all heard of probiotics, those good bugs, and prebiotics, the food for the bugs. But have you heard of postbiotics? I want you to think of postbiotics as the tools the workers need to repair that wall. And if the wall is crumbling, you don't just need more workers, you need the mortar and the bricks and the sealant. So we're going to be talking about a 5-year age secret. Now, I'm not talking about a fine balsamic vinegar or a vintage wine. I'm talking about a fermentation process that takes half a decade to create the specific biochemicals that your gut is screaming for. And most people, they're trying to fix a leaky gut by just throwing a random pill down the hatch and hoping for the best. But if you have a sensitive system, if you're one of the people who react to everything, who feels bloated just looking at a salad, you need a different approach. You need something that's already pre-digested by nature so your body can actually use it. And so my guest today is going to explain why that invisible wall isn't just about digestion. It's about your heart and your brain and your immune system's ability to recognize a real threat versus your own healthy tissue. So if you've been struggling with those mystery symptoms, if you feel like your body is an engine that's running at 200 degrees all the time, or if you've been told that your labs look normal while you feel like garbage, this is the show you've been waiting for. We're going to bridge that gap between high-tech medical imaging and ancient fermentation science. So folks, your health is not a spectator sport by any means. You need to be your own best doctor most of the time. You can't outsource that integrity of your intestinal barrier to anyone else. So it's time to stop that toxic spill that's going into your bloodstream and start reinforcing the gates starting in your stomach. So we're going to be learning about this specific fermented food extract that's changing the game for people with IBS and Crohn's and other digestive tract disorders or chronic systemic inflammation. And people also that have been told there are no easy answers. And so we're going to talk about how to feed your gut microbiome even when your diet isn't perfect. But before we get into the how, we have to understand that why. And the why is that your body is this closed system that has become open in all those wrong places. So we're going to teach you how to seal the leaks and stop that systemic inflammation before it turns into permanent chronic conditions. And you can learn more about the topic that we're going to discuss today or dive into our archives at drbob.com. Again, that's spelling out the word doctor, D-O-C-T-O-R, bob.com. There you can also ask specific questions. Maybe it's about that invisible wall in your gut. You can also ask that at our website at drbob.com or by calling our toll-free hotline, which is, again, that's 800-606-8822. Today, we've been talking about leaky gut in that first segment, and I want to bring a medical detective, if you will, in here to help me out today. So I want you to imagine your gut again is this high-tech manufacturing plant, and for years we've been told that we need more workers. So let's call those the probiotics, and this is very much correct. But a factory full of workers is useless if they aren't actually producing any goods. So, in this world of longevity and peak performance, we're talking about these goods as being something known as postbiotics. They are those bioactive signaling molecules that actually do the heavy lifting for your immune system and in your brain and your metabolism. And that is why on the show that we have recommended for years, Dr. Ohhira's probiotics. That is a probiotic that has the pro, and that postbiotic already built in. And now today we're going to continue to dive in this conversation that is going to shift the way that you're going to look at digestive health. And we're not just talking about that good bacteria right now. We're going to talk about this fermented biochemical keys that unlock that total body health. And today we're going to be joined by a great voice in the holistic health world, and that is Jane Jansen. And Jane is a natural and holistic practitioner at the Tree of Life Wellness Center in Massachusetts. She has a unique perspective, having spent years in the high tech world of radiology and ultrasound before transitioning to holistic medicine. And so she's seen the inside of the human body in ways most never do. And she's here to talk today about this revolutionary breakthrough, and that is Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic fermented food extract. So, with that, I want to welcome Jane back to the Dr. Bob Martin Show. How are you doing today, Jane?
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, and I understand that you have some exciting news to share with our listeners today.
Yes, as a practitioner, particularly seeing patients, when new things come out that can affect people's lives in a dramatic way, it's always exciting that they're going to see benefits that they haven't probably seen before. And to help their health, and you talked about the immune system and the gut health, in particular, essential formulas, which is well known for the Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, which I absolutely love. I take them. I recommend them to my patients, my family, but they have a new product that we're really excited about, which is named Dr. Ohhira's Postbiotic Fermented Food Concentrate.
No, that's great news, Jane. And we've all seen this probiotic market explode. And again, we've recommended on the show here for years Dr. Ohhira's essential formulas that produce this. It's a great probiotic, but now we got this fermented food extract, and it's this evolution in these specific concentrates that really gets me excited as a clinician. It's like we're moving from these basic tools to these precision instruments. So I want you to tell our listeners about this new postbiotic concentrate and why it is so unique and important.
Well, what's really great about it is it's, gluten free, dairy free, all the things that, people tend to have issues with. But it's in this capsule free as well sachet. It's this fermented paste that actually harnesses 5 years of fermentation process to deliver this new comprehensive digestive support. This postbiotic concentrate is an entire biotic system containing a vast spectrum of over 500 postbiotics to nourish your microbiome. Sometimes it gets a little stuck in the mouth.
Hmm.
But it is a great product. It is tasty, which is,
Hmm.
unique. Again, one less pill that you got to swallow. But the concentrate of the postbiotics is what makes it so incredibly unique. Think of probiotics as kind of traveling workers that come and go. And so you're always having to replenish them on a daily basis because they're there for a short time. If they're the Dr. Ohhira's probiotic, where they can bind the prebiotic and the probiotic, you get these postbiotics. But now they've taken it to another level where you're concentrating over 500 different postbiotic metabolites that are, think of as though micronutrients that are nourishing your immune system, as you said earlier, the brain, the heart, the vascular system, but in particular, digestive tract, and healing and repairing the lining of the digestive tract, which is so important because there's so many different toxins that we are exposed to on a regular basis that those sometimes can get into the system if the digestive tract is not functioning well and if the lining of the digestive tract isn't being healed appropriately.
Yeah, and I want our listeners, I want to let them know if they didn't catch it, that's over 500 bioactive postbiotics in this formula, and so I'm looking at it in my practice. I see so many patients who have guts that are maybe so sensitive with the foods that we eat now that they can't even handle Jane, like fiber. So this sachet, this format of this is a game changer, and it does taste great. I use it. I use it every day myself. My family uses it. It's essentially it's this pre-digested through this. You said a 5-year fermentation process, meaning that your body doesn't have to work so hard to get those benefits. So in this terms, I consider it like a instant bioavailability. And so we're talking about repairing this gut lining and lowering that inflammation throughout the body pretty fast when our diets maybe aren't where they should be. So Jane, I want you to kind of maybe describe a little bit of what you're seeing in practice, how this is reducing the symptoms of, say, irritable bowel and chronic diarrhea and inflammatory bowel disease through this great formula.
Particularly for people with these kind of conditions, eating a lot of fiber is really difficult and can actually make things worse. But that's what you actually need is this wide variety of different types of fibers to actually produce these postbiotics. So this is taking that step out that you don't have to now consume all this fiber. So because some people don't just because they have poor diets, but also some people just can't, particularly with these kind of digestive problems. And so even there are some people who are sensitive to probiotics. So this is taking all of that out, and what you're left with is the pure material that is beneficial to, again, enhancing your own immune system, particularly anti-inflammatory, because inflammation is a kicker to a lot of different health issues in the body. And so this is an won't upset the digestive tract, actually help heal and promote, again, the healing process.
Yeah, and that's great. You mentioned that postbiotics are metabolites. So I want to dig into that just a little bit deeper for our listeners. I want you to let our listeners know, where do postbiotics come from?
They basically come from the beneficial bacteria that's already in your colon, that's already in your digestive tract. And when you consume different foods that contain various types of dietary fibers, polyphenols, your beneficial bacteria will actually utilize them, consume them to call, again, these different postbiotics into play. They actually manufacture them. And so this fermentation process is really what converts those dietary compounds into the postbiotic metabolites. So it's really important in the diet to have a wide variety of different types of beneficial fibers and to allow this fermentation process to occur. But again, as we talked earlier, a lot of people, either can't or don't consume a wide variety of these different types of um, fibers, and the fermentation process just really isn't there. So, this is where inflammation, loose stools, constipation, bloating, gas, even sometimes can affect, again, overall feeling of inflammation in the body, either up in the sinuses, in the joints, in the digestive tract, in the muscles. This inflammation can occur when you don't have enough of these postbiotic metabolites to help repair the immune system.
Yeah, and I know that you mentioned before we came on air today that according to this article, this fiber gap in how the gut microbiome is disappearing. You were talking about, the authors reported this huge, this 90% of children and adults in America do not consume the recommended amount of daily dietary fiber. And so to me that statistic is huge, and we're talking about a postbiotic deficiency crisis, if you will. So we know we're not eating enough fiber, and and let's be honest, most of us, we're not getting that good bacteria, enough of it in our system the way it is. So if we're talking about these postbiotic metabolites, if the postbiotic metabolites are normally produced in the colon, how are these postbiotic these metabolites in the new Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic concentrate? How is that produced?
And that's what's so cool about this is the essential formulas has this unique fermentation process over 5 years of giving these different
Wow.
probiotics, the different fruits, 14 different types of fruits, vegetables, mushrooms, seaweed, a diverse range of food that creates this in this fermentation process, these postbiotic metabolites, over 500. So it's diverse. It's not just one or two postbiotic metabolites, it's 500, which are all these beneficial micronutrients for the brain, for the blood brain barrier, again, help with heart, muscle. It helps in so many different variety of ways. But I found, particularly for people with digestive issues, if you're not creating these postbiotic metabolites, then it's like the whole immune system goes down. And this is where they're finding, again, this is the most important part of the microbiome, is not just putting probiotics in, because that's good. But you need those prebiotics, the wide variety of prebiotics, in order to get the wide variety of postbiotics. It's the end result which is the most important.
So if we're looking at this, and we look at this new the Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic concentrate, it's packaged in these little packets called sachets, and each of these contains this postbiotic metabolite that's equivalent to 5 capsules of what's in the postbiotics in Dr. Ohhira's probiotics, the professional formula. And so on this, I want to make the recommendation that's so easy to take and to travel with. That you can just it's got a little tear packet on there. Open the sachet packet and squeeze that postbiotic paste just into your mouth, or mix it with a food or beverage. And so again, it's great, it's easy, it tastes good, it's great for the children. So again, this is why I love this Dr. Ohhira's method. So if you think about that, that's 5 years of fermentation. And most products that are on the shelves, they're lucky to get maybe 5 weeks. By doing this fermentation outside of the body, Dr. Ohhira's is essentially handing you this finished product. And so for many of my listeners who travel, or again have kids who refuse to swallow pills, these sachets are a great and easy way to take this. So you're getting that power of 5 professional grade capsules in this just really easy packet. So I want you to talk more, Jane, about the benefits of postbiotic metabolites.
There was even a study published recently in the Journal of Immunology, basically stating that, again, the depletion in the American diet of the postbiotic metabolites is so critical to staying healthy and for the immune system to function appropriately. And they found that, again, this depletion is in part the wide occurrence of so many health issues, that, again, the microbiome is so important to overall health. And it starts with children at a very young age. And today, you look at children's, diets, it's chicken nuggets, pizza, macaroni and
Mhm.
cheese, and they're missing all these fantastic nutrients, which, again, it's really hard to get children to take a capsule or something like that. These sachets make it so easy. You can give it to them right directly into the mouth, or you can put it in a little bit of a beverage or their food. They won't even know that they're taking it, and you're going to help them for the longevity of their health, it's so important to start young. But it's great for adults as well. Even, if you're 80 years old, again, you're getting this final product that otherwise you got to wait for your body to create. It's already created and you're putting it instantaneously into the system and can help start immediately the repair aspect of your overall immune system, but particularly your digestive tract.
Yeah, I really like that, Jane, and this is what I call maybe that longevity key, one of the keys to longevity. And what Jane is mentioning it is this, that she's talking about this fuel for your gut lining. And if your gut lining is healthy, your brain, your heart, everything is protected. Your chronic inflammation starts to lower. And if your gut lining is leaky, your brain is got all this inflammation. So there's the rest of your body. So these postbiotics are circulating in your blood, acting like a cleanup crew for that whole system, and starting in the gut. So it's a comprehensive type of a care pattern. Okay, so Jane, we were talking again. We've been throwing a few terms around, and I want our listeners to know we've thrown this around on the show quite often. The term dysbiosis. So I want you to just explain briefly what that is for our listeners.
Dysbiosis is when there's an imbalance, particularly of too many bad bacteria in the digestive tract and not enough of the good bacteria. And you end up with a, excess amount of this bad bacteria causing inflammation in the digestive tract, particularly the colon. And this is where people will develop, different types of, pathology in the digestive tract. And so you want to keep the digestive tract, the colon, as healthy as possible. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, they don't get to, eat appropriately, or they have these chronic health issues. And sometimes they can be caused by also some of the medications people are taking, this dysbiosis, this imbalance in the digestive tract. Certain medications like the acid inhibitors, or taking different antibiotics, this throws the balance of good bacteria and bad bacteria off. And so now taking this postbiotic metabolites, this concentration of food, beneficial, you're just putting it instantaneously into that digestive tract and start beginning that healing process right away. And that's what makes this so exciting. Now, this does not contain, Dr. O'Hara's postbiotic metabolites do not contain actual live probiotics. So for some people who can't take probiotics for whatever reason, or they're already taking one, but it does not have, they should be taking the Dr. O'Hara's. But even there, you can still take the Dr. O'Hara's probiotic and take this postbiotic metabolites, and it's going to get you beneficial health, as far as insulin resistance. Working patients with diabetes often have dysbiosis in the digestive tract, as well as people who are chronically having to go on antibiotics or, again, other medications. Again, throws that whole balance off. And now taking Dr. O'Hara's postbiotic metabolite formula, the concentrate, is such a quick and easy way. And you only need to do it like, 2 or 3 times a week. I suggest to my patients who have significant problems, and they want to try and get there a little bit quicker, if they have loose stools or constipation, you can actually take it every day, and you're going to get great benefits from it. But for most people, 2 or 3 times a week is sufficient. And the best thing is, not only can you give it to your kids, but you can also give it to your pets. And so, how many pets, as they get older, their digestive tracts get a little bit off. This is a great way to, again, improve their overall health too.
I really like that, Jane. So again, I want to go back over, if you can go back over, what is that recommended dose of the Dr. O'Hara's new postbiotic concentrate, and then also I want you to recommend what you usually do as far as the Dr. O'Hara's probiotic in conjunction with the postbiotic concentrate.
I think the, 2 or 3 times a week, for most people is sufficient. Again, to get those 500 different postbiotic metabolites into your system instantaneously, but they stay. So this is why you
Mhm.
don't necessarily need to take them every day. Whereas with a probiotic, you actually do want to take every day because they only stay around for a short period of time and then they're out the door. And so for people again who have digestive issues that have been ongoing for a while, I usually suggest them take it every day or, base it on how you feel. But 3 times a week for most people is sufficient. And then with Dr. O'Hara's probiotic, I usually suggest taking it every day.
Mhm.
I do, again, probiotics only stick around for a short period of time. And you need that continual feeding of them to produce the postbiotic metabolites, which again are what's keeping you healthy, helping your immune system function, to help the brain function, to help with your blood sugars to be more, again, less insulin resistant. And take down the inflammation that's going on. So many people have chronic inflammation right now. So it's a great way to add in to your lifestyle. And your doctor is going to be totally amazed. Give it a few months and you'll be amazing them like you wouldn't believe.
I encourage all listeners to check out some of the research and information that they provide on their website, which is essentialformulas.com. That's essential, ESSENTIAL formulas.com. Again, there you can find the research. You can find retailers nationwide, natural health retailers nationwide that carry Dr. O'Hara's in Essential Formulas full line of products. And Jane, so today we've been discussing this new breakthrough, the postbiotic metabolites, and I just want to know. We got a couple minutes left in this hour of the show. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about this new postbiotic concentrate?
I think again they have to know that this is unique. This is something that is revolutionizing the way the digestive tract is going to be taken care of in the future. And again, so many different articles, articles, are saying the microbiome is the key to your longevity and quality of life. And now Dr. O'Hara's postbiotic concentrate is, again, it's not a probiotic, it is a postbiotic that provides this system of a 5-year fermentation process that gives you the vast majority of 500 bioactive postbiotics that are key essential nutrients for getting healthy and keeping your digestive tract functioning appropriately and also your whole body. I've been using it in my practice. I am amazed at even for me, I am amazed at the feedback that I am getting from my patients, how much better they are feeling, not only digestively, but overall within even just a few weeks of starting. Now, everybody's different. Some people, things are going to take a little bit longer, but the results are there, and I am so pleased that Dr. O'Hara's postbiotic metabolites are making me look really good as a practitioner.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I use it myself. And this is great when you're traveling or you're feeling run down, or just to stay healthy. It's so easy. You don't need a refrigerator. You just toss some of these sachets in your bag and go. And again, you said don't forget your pets, your kids. Everybody could benefit from this. And so they. Anything that has a gut microbiome that could probably benefit from this. But let's focus on ourselves, our kids, our pets, and there many everybody gets these same environmental stressors. So this is important information. So again, thanks Jane for the great information. And I'm going to remind again our listeners where they can find Dr. O'Hara's postbiotic fermented food extract. It's available at nationwide through natural health retailers. And I encourage you to head over to their website, which is essentialformulas.com. And again, if you go in your natural health food store, I encourage you to ask for Dr. O'Hara's. Again, Jane, thanks for joining us, giving us your incredible expertise. And folks, remember, your health is your greatest wealth. If you arm yourself with the right nutrients, you protect your gut microbiome, it helps you take control of your life. And for more information, head over to drbob.com or essentialformulas.com. I'm Dr. Adam Brockman, and this has been Health Talk America presents the Dr. Bob Martin Show. Be well.